So when you say 35 to 40%, do you mean 35 to 40% of men or 35 to 40% of people who are having infertility problems?
35 to 40% of the population of men have an issue with infertility.
3 to 4.
Wanaume.
That's a
Fungeni show.
Yes.
Fungeni show.
Wanaume.
Fungeni show ujamaenda. Fungeni show ujamatoke.
It's a big number.
That's how they react.
It's a big number.
And I think that is, I mean, that is very telling because most people are hearing this for the first time.
Yes.
With agglutination, your sperm is sticking to each other. Not a good thing because getting pregnant, that is actually a reason for you are not getting pregnant. We can get around that. You have an issue with the numbers. For example, instead of 15 million per milliliter, you have 2 million. Too little, too few.
Okay.
And when you multiply 2 million by 3 milliliters, it's 6 million. And we want 40 million.
Okay.
So what we call oligospermia.
Okay.
The numbers are there, but they're reduced.
Okay. That sounds like a Jaluo. At your level.
when Dr. is talking, the voice of my biology teacher is coming back, Mrs. Oyomno. You know, all the terminologies that he's using, you know, that voice is coming back, you know, like slowly by slowly, which goes to show you the importance of
high school boss.
of studying. But no, it wasn't trauma. You know, I think it was a very important subject to. It's a very important subject to study. Now, we are gonna come because we are still, you know, like at what might be causing the infertility, and we're gonna come to if there's remedies to it. But before we get there, there's a question here that's coming. Mimo Kwenange is asking, Doctor, is it too late for a girlfriend to check their man's balls to make sure the cabin is there? Not meant to be funny. This is a very serious question.
Now for the
cabin,
for the girlfriend, it won't be a cabin. It will be something which is the consistency is hard, and we need to have a rough idea about the size as well.
Yeah.
So she may probably not know that consistency and that size. So how to check it is just basically to confirm that it is there. But whether it is okay is a different story altogether.
So it can be there.
It can be there.
But it's still not
but
okay.
The size is small.
Okay.
Or it is soft, the consistency. Or it may not be there. It's in the abdomen.
Let me ask a question to that.
Yes.
So as from 13, as women we're told, you know, you start seeing your OBGYN. Not from 13 to 19, 20, not as frequent, but if you do not get your period, you will have to see a doctor for that.
Yeah.
That's why when you say it's a normal thing, I remember when I was growing up, going to buy my pads, I was in high school at this supermarket, and normally we'll go to feature. And I was like, if I don't have periods, my parents or my future husband will spend so much money trying to figure out what's wrong with me. This is so normal. So I was proud holding my pads, going to pay for them. So it's actually a serious thing if you don't get your period. So you have to see a doctor. But then from your 20s, you're advised to see your OBGYN once a year. At least. Do men have that? Because that's my blind spot.
Now, men don't have that, unfortunately. Because it is assumed, this is another blind spot, that men are okay all the time. As for women, because of that cycle, you have something to show, something exterior. There is a pad, you know. Men don't have to. So it is assumed that they are okay. And that is why infertility affects about 35 to 40% of men actually have the problem with infertility. About 35 to 40%.
Repeat that again.
So wait.
35 to 40%.
So when you say 35 to 40%, do you mean 35 to 40% of men or 35 to 40% of people who are having infertility problems?
35 to 40% of the population of men have an issue with infertility.
3 to 4.
Wanaume.
That's a
Fungeni show. Fungeni show.
Wanaume.
Fungeni show ujamaenda. Fungeni show ujamatoke.
It's a big number.
That's how they react.
It's a big number.
And I think that is very telling because most people are hearing this for the first time.
Yes.
You know, like people don't know. And of course, like I remember at the beginning of the show, we're talking about, you know, that this problem has historically been blamed on the woman.
Yes.
But we're seeing here there's a very high likelihood that the man is the one who might be having the problem. There was a question that Washeke asked, and it kind of...
Actually, there are two questions we need to get back to before you forget
got lost. Yes. But Uno, you go first, and then we're going to come back to these questions.
As you're going to those questions, let me to support your point. Today, in preparation for this show, I was talking to a pal of mine, and I was talking about infertility, and I told him, and I think that the doctor mentioned where sometimes when a child is born, and he can correct me, but listening to his presentations, something is supposed to fall in place. In the scrotal sac, something is supposed to fall in there so that it can be supported.
Yes.
Now from there, that is where we get, I guess, the sperm or something.
Yeah.
But sometimes at childbirth, if you're a boy, or before childbirth, I think when you're born, those things don't fall in.
Yeah.
They don't fall in place.
Yeah.
To make sure that now everything is aligning is aligning such that as you grow, you're going to be that Guruma Simba.
Yeah.
He did not know that sometimes those things happen where your testicles don't fall
in place.
It fall in place into the scrotum. He did not know that.
Yeah.
They do not descend.
They do not descend. My bad.
And I think it would be best even in another forum if maybe you could even use diagrams, because you're talking about mothers checking, and I think fathers too should also be involved in this, checking their boys, like when they're young, to see if there's a problem so that they can know early. And then I think it's also, I mean, if the numbers, the numbers that you're giving us, if that's a case, I think certain things, like when men go for their annual checkups, I think this is something that should be included.
But before, hold on.
Do men go for those annual checkups?
It's
another
something else.
I think we need another show for that.
Daktari.
Yeah, we need another show.
But Daktari
knows too much.
Second warning.
But Daktari, okay. If those things have not descended, is it something that you can tell, let's say, when you go for like when the woman goes for the checkup, like when you're going for the before childbirth, like you're looking at, when you do that ultrasound.
Yes.
Is it something that you can see then? This thing can only be this can only be confirmed once the baby has been born.
So the baby has been born.
Yes.
And if we actually feel, you can actually feel kwamba,
kuna kakitu
hapa na hapa kuna kakitu. Ama hapa hakuna, and here it is there. So it can be, that is why I said right at the beginning, talk to the mothers. Okay. And especially when they're washing the babies.
But I think also maybe they should also be taught, because they don't know exactly probably what to feel for.
No, the babies can't know.
No. The mother should.
But also, you know what
to
I
be
want
taught.
to,
that should be part of the when you go for the prenatal.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you're supposed to
I want to add to this, because right now we are all doing intentional parenting. So men are more present as fathers. This is one route that you can definitely be part of your child's
absolutely
life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now